It's Christine Wilson and Saphira Galoob, and you'll thank us later. Tune in every week and hang out with us because we're a lot of fun.
And no topics off the record, we decided. We are open to talking about everything together with a bit of a sense of humor, a lot of self-forgiveness, a lot of grace, and always being wiser on the other end. Bring it on, girls and boys.
You know what? You'll thank me later that I'm telling you about this. You'll thank me. They're going to hate us, Saphira. It's going to be nuts.
Well, good afternoon, my friend.
Hi. How are you?
Well, I'm pretty good. I have to say, this spring weather in DC is like, I don't know, it envelops me.
Good for the soul.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. I go out on my morning walks and I like see all the azaleas and all the blooms. I mean, of course, I'm sneezing and, and sniffling the whole way, but I am just fine with it. It's like the perfect temperature.
It is so good. It is so good. I am enjoying it.
Nothing better.
So you brought up this topic for today, and I have to tell you, it immediately made me feel uncomfortable.
Well, we've kind of been going deep lately. I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, today I thought we would explore how to manage through being uncomfortable. Because if I were going to write a book, it would be about this.
Oh,
yeah. It's because when I was doing the belly dancing, I was working with only adult women who I would say like 95 to 98% of them had never danced before. So like never put one foot in front of the other, much less on a count.
Like me when I was in your class.
And they're doing something that's completely unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Completely unfamiliar. So there was no sense of like, one, it was like, no, we're going to talk about the concept between competence and confidence and familiarity. And there's a very vulnerable with your body because of course women
showing your belly.
Yes, body image. There's the whole body image piece. So you've got your body. It's like all these women and their bodies, like that women and their bodies is a recipe for a complex situation. Doing something they're brand new at, doing something that feels awkward and unfamiliar in your body, and then when you have to do it in front of an audience of people looking at you, that is like the ultimate recipe for can I get through this. And what's really interesting about the work that I did with women in their dance journey is that many women came to me and said, having worked with me all these years translated in other areas of their life, particularly in their professional life. So like women would say, I didn't have upward mobility in my job. And after I started dancing with you, I have upward mobility. Or my relationship between getting it, like moving from one job to another. So this relationship between confidence and an uncomfortableness, they live within kind of the same sandbox, or at least an adjacent sandboxes. And so teaching adult women to put discomfort, and we're talking about not discomfort, pain discomfort. We're talking about like discomfort about being being in the world. And I think I have a pedagogy for it. I really, really do.
I love it. Well, you're reminding me a little bit of like when I used to try to get my employees to go do Toastmasters, because I kept saying, I know it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to eventually pay off when you can talk better to clients, when you can present, when you feel more eloquent and capable. And so you talking about the dancing and people's mobility in their business, I bet they created such a better they went through that uncomfortableness to come to a better place, right?
Yeah. So the first thing about being uncomfortable is identifying the scenarios that where when someone says, I am uncomfortable doing that, I'm uncomfortable in conflict, I'm uncomfortable negotiating for myself, I'm uncomfortable hosting a dinner party, I'm uncomfortable speaking publicly, I'm uncomfortable dancing in public, whatever it is, like name it, name what it is. And then you kind of got to spend time with like what the it is. So if it's, you choose a topic, and then I'll tell you how the teaching dance works with what the pedagogy would be. I'm uncomfortable, and then finish that sentence.
I'm uncomfortable. I would say negotiating for myself and presenting my value.
Okay, so this is perfect. So part of that is just like learning dance is because one, there is a lack of a lack of your sense of your own competence of doing it. So I think there's a relationship between comfort, confidence, and competence.
Mm.
So people, I believe, and women particularly, are uncomfortable with things they don't think they're good at.
Huh. Yeah. They don't want
Relationship
anything
between
they're not good at.
confidence, competence, and comfort is so connected. So, for example, if you were to put me in front of 1,000,000 people, as long as I knew what I was talking about, I would say, "Hi there, friends. I'm ready to rock." I would not have one level of discomfort. I would have to know that what I was wearing it was good. Like
Yeah.
I could feel good about what I was wearing and the way I looked. So that's a vulnerability for me. I would have to know what I was talking about. I would have to know that also like that I've got the right microphone. But there's no amount of people that would make me uncomfortable.
Oh, I am a good public speaker, and the bigger the crowd, the more nervous I
Yeah.
get.
So the negotiating for yourself. So let's go back on that, or show not for the value.
Yeah.
So you kind of start with that, and then you have to break it down with what are the elements that give competence. So in the world of dance, that is, knowing the steps, knowing the movement, being effective at making the movement work, telling your body when to do the movement, doing the movement with the music. I mean, there are all these components with dance. And I would think that showing your value, if there were a way that you could articulate with specificity
Yeah.
what the perfect outcome was, and you could divide up, what elements that was. So let's say the showing your value, let's say it's like landing a client, for example, with a certain amount. I think, like you got to almost start like where you want to end, and then you work backwards on it. And for me, the competence is so let's open this up a little bit. Let's do a little bit of a case study here. So let's say you want to land a client, and it's a big client. Give me a contract price or something that makes it very real.
Yeah.
What's
$10,000 a month?
Okay, so you want a $10,000 a month, and the work that you want to do with them. Just give me the general parameters of what that work is.
All their social media, their website work, and their email, and their advertising.
Okay. So in working backwards, when you're negotiating your value, I think that as you are delineating all the elements of that, each of those pieces, from my vantage point, you know how to do very, very well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that you have got competence. You know the steps of the dance, right?
Yes.
So I want to show you value in this portfolio, and that's easy. So I know that you actually know how to. You're competent in that.
Yes.
Then the question is to the relationship between what you want to charge and what their willingness is to pay. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So now here's a question. When you do those pitches, do you know what budget they have for this?
Not fully, no. I usually can get a ballpark idea, and sometimes I will just outright ask. But most people don't want to tip their hand and tip their hat or whatever, I tell you.
Yeah. So let's say you ask, and let's have a couple of scenarios. Let's say you ask and they don't want to tell you. Let's have that option A.
Yeah.
And let's say you ask and it's the wrong number. Okay.
Yeah.
What if, let's go with the wrong number first. Let's say they say it's 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a world in which you can say is you absolutely, no, let me back up. Is there a world where you can say is, so I completely understand that you've got limitations here.
Mm-hmm.
Because of where my services are in my capacity, in my expertise, immediately you say, I'm not the right fit for you. Let me help you find someone who can do this amount of work for that pricing.
Yes, we do that a lot.
Okay, so that's perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect. So now it's the other scenario where they don't tell you. Oh, by the way, in that scenario, Miss Christine.
Yes.
Do you end up landing that client, or do you end up sending them along?
If it's a huge discrepancy, like 2,000 to 10,000, there's probably not even like a way we're going to meet in the middle. So I'm not going to whittle down my services and my value to get to a place where they're willing to do. And I will say to them, I don't take any social media clients for less than $2,500 to $3,000 a month. So you haven't even met my minimum for one service of what you want. So I don't think we're ever going to come to a place where it's going to work for you. And I do know some options that might be better. And, you know, that's always good, because they're not going to build resentment because they stretch their budget to try to accommodate me, and I don't have to feel like I discounted myself to accommodate them. It's more when it's close.
Yes.
That it becomes the, am I willing, do I want to work with them enough to shave my value a little bit?
So what's interesting here is I'm wondering whether or not this is about your confidence to ask for it, or the business vulnerability that it's a bird in the hand.
Yeah, right. I don't have to go try to find another client. It's right here.
But is that confidence, or is that business vulnerability?
I don't know. I am much, much more particular now about who I work with than I used to be. So it used to be every sale was a sale. I'm a sales mindset. You got to close everything, you know, take everything you can, make it work. Now I have learned the repercussions of underselling my value, having a client that doesn't appreciate you because you've discounted yourself, and also identifying difficult clients right from the beginning, which oftentimes are the people who really want to negotiate, because they don't say, like you've said to me from the very beginning, what are each of the people on your team worth in your billables? And we will work on projects based on our budget of what we can afford with the people on your team that are, and their value of what they need to get done to do it. So you never said to me, no, that person's so junior, I don't want to pay that. I want to pay less. You know, you accepted what I identified as the value.
100%. But you have people who don't accept that.
Yeah, you're an unusual one, because most of our clients are on very set retainers, less project-based work.
Yeah.
And so they look at it and they're like, I'm going to spend $10,000 every single month. Am I going to get enough out of it to justify that? One of the big things that I often will say to people is $10,000 a month would give you one full-time employee. That full-time employee would need to know how to create social content, how to edit videos, how to run social ads, how to edit a website, how to do influencer marketing, how to do, so you might find one person that knows how to do all those things. Most likely you won't, because that's 5 people on my team with those skills. So you get 5 people for the cost of 1 person.
Yeah. No, and I think, again, as I can imagine that I don't do as much. I mean, I do some pitching, and I do struggle with it a little bit, because I'm still more like a sale as a sale. But because on the confidence piece, because I want to get back to here, where do you find that you kind of sell? You don't take the road of, I'm going to ask for the big number, and they either take it or they don't. Where is it in that? My brain is flow chart right now, because I want to see if this pedagogy works.
Yeah, I think there's times where I'll be like, well, who am I to charge $10,000 for a month? I'm not a big agency. They could go to a big agency in New York City who does.
We'll charge them $30,000 a month.
They might charge even more, but okay, so like, a lot of our clients are in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. So when I get to that 10,000, that's when I start to feel like I'm having imposter syndrome.
Right.
Who am I to be at this place? Even though if I broke down all the services, that's what I should be charging.
Right. Well, and truthfully, if you can get rid of the ones that can't, then you will make room for the time for the people who can. Well, and I think the piece where I would come back to is you focusing on your competence.
Yeah.
And staying in your competence, because the more you are, this is what I'm best in the world at. This is my firm is best in the world at.
Yeah.
And this is the price for it. And maybe so this is where it would come in and dance. So, and it sounds a little bit silly, but maybe there is, and this would be kind of an interesting exercise. I don't know. So when we train people to do work in like theater, they practice the exact same dance.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something where literally you have one product, it's this and that's the price, and that is all it is. And literally you don't veer from that for anyone.
That would be tough.
Well, and so that's what, is it a business decision tough? Or is it a confidence we're not good enough tough?
No, I think everybody needs a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because, like you don't need influencer marketing.
No, right, right.
Big
But I'm
part
just
of what.
thinking about that 10,000, like if there was a way that
Yeah.
if they were going to ask for that package,
Oh yeah.
that is the price.
Yeah.
And you, and you're like,
And
and
you never degrade
right.
the value.
Because I do think whenever you're like trying to be in a variable mode, then it gets into like, are you practicing the competence
Yeah.
on it? 'Cause again, I go back to the dance. You teach them a small part of it.
Yeah.
Then you put more together, and then you train it. Then you do it with the music, and then you add pieces on, but you're always working with the same steps, the same choreography, really. And I'm curious if in that package of what you just articulated,
Yeah.
that it's only 10 and you only do that. Because every
Yeah.
time you vary around it, you wonder, should I be going down on this one?
Yeah. I will say one of the efforts that helped with this was getting on contract with the University of Virginia, because you have to set your rates and you have to stand by those rates, and you're locked into those rates until you do some sort of addendum and change them. And so it really made me go through and think about the value of what we offered, how we were going to compare with other agencies on the contract. Were we going to be competitive, and would we be, why would we stand by that rate? Because it's locked in. I mean, you could always lower it. Technically, the
Yeah.
government's not going to complain if you charge less than the contracted rate, but we haven't. We've stuck to the rates. So that was a good effort in actually creating sort of a menu of rates, and also having a
Choreography. I would say a choreography, like this is what it is.
yeah.
Like, and I would think, one of the things I think is interesting is I know that you normally do the negotiations. I
Yes.
wonder if there's something to be said about letting the girls doing it and saying, this is what it is. It's almost like, it's like when you're going to sell something for somebody else, you're like, this is the rate. Like,
Right. They're more like this. I have to say this. This is what
right,
it is. I can't go negotiate.
right, right. Because especially, I would also imagine for you, because you're so personal, that folks play on that, like, oh, Christine, come on, you can do better. You can,
Well, and so many of my clients are referral based, so they feel like friends, right? So a friend introduces a friend, or a
right.
client became a friend.
Or they know that this friend is paying X.
Yes.
That's also tricky. Yeah. Yeah. But I think, on a rate thing, you can say, yep, that was my rates then. They were actually, I don't say grand, that I said that was the wrong word. That's no longer the word. They hit them
Right.
with me at a time when that was my rates were, and I have respected that rates because of the longevity of that client, but this is what they are now. And again, I think you can immediately say, if that doesn't work for you, I can recommend to you an agency that may be able to do that work, or we can pare down the
Yeah.
scope. But I think the practicing of having the exact same thing every time, like knowing, like, I'm not going to, there's no range here. If it is
Right.
this grouping of services, it is that rate. This is
Yeah.
choreography. And I'm curious if that competence, like that development, translates into the confidence. I don't know. I don't know.
I do think that there's something here to, like, yeah. I mean, and also knowing that I don't want to do the work that is not at the value of what, at this point, 14 years in, of what it is. So I think this is a great exercise. One place that I love working with female small businesses that are just starting.
Yeah.
And that is one place where I will give a lot for very little. And I will tell you what I get, because we all do think when nobody's truly altruistic, right? What I get from that is the satisfaction of being a woman, putting a hand out to another woman.
Yeah.
And I love that. So is it great on the bottom line? Not always, but I love it. I love when, like, a friend of a friend comes to me and says, I have this idea for this product. What do I do? And, being able to give them a break on my expertise to help. That is one of the things I like to do. I have had resentful moments, though, where people have taken advantage of it or not appreciated it. So you do have to be very careful with that, because,
Well,
yeah.
I'm saying this for you, but I'm getting ready to have to go negotiate for myself as well. And I think I've got some vulnerability in that as well. Mine is more like just, a dollar in. Mine's less. I have, fewer fish on my hook, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I got to be careful. I don't want to say no
Right.
too much, but so it's a little different motivation. But I do think your competence in what you do is so high that the confidence should just naturally come from that. Naturally comes
Well,
from
I
that.
appreciate that. And I hope that you also, I know you're in kind of uncharted territory of uncomfortableness right now, because people are actually in your situation are living in like altered reality. That is a hard place when you're like not even dealing with people in the same realm of understanding. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's the uncomfortableness of it. Does it start to shake your confidence?
It doesn't, for me, my confidence in what I do and what I do well, it is not, it doesn't, the uncomfortableness is not that I lack confidence. The uncomfortableness is connected to the uncertainty of what my professional trajectory is going to be.
Yeah.
So my uncomfortableness is related to the fact that I've had this really stable pathway, and I can see before me, like if the visual is like you can see, in those movies, like the cartoons where you're on like the path, but you can
Yeah.
see how like the steps are kind of falling way out in front, like
Yeah.
like a bridge that's going between two mountains, and you're fine, but like the steps are falling and it's coming towards you. That is my uncomfortableness, because I have been in, I've changed careers enough. I mean, I'm still willing to do it and I know how to do it.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed some stability of my own making. And now this disruption is not of my own making, despite having really performed. And so my discomfort is in anger. Again, they're sharing a wall, just in the same way they were sharing a wall on our last podcast.
Yes.
So my uncomfort is like God, it's gonna be such a fucking pain in the ass again to have to rebuild another goddamn bridge. Sorry,
Right.
sorry, podcast folks, I'm really pissed, and I know how hard it is to rebuild. So
Yes.
my uncomfortable is just knowing that I'm gonna have to like run a marathon tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I've been
You're like, I've already done it. Why
I've
not?
already run, and I didn't want to build. I didn't want to run a marathon tomorrow. I just wanted to do my daily walks.
Right.
So it's more, that's the uncomfortable that I'm experiencing, but it's not, mine is not tied to confidence or competence, really.
I think one of the biggest things for me is that I really look at most moments of new experiences rather than looking at them as uncomfortable. I look at them as exciting and adventurous. So yes, I do have, I mean, when I public speak, I know I will do a good job. I prepare, I do everything you're talking about. I know the choreography, I know the music, I know this, I know my subject matter. I'm ready and prepared. My armpits still tingle. I still get my nose runs. I have all these weird little quirks that happen that then let me know that my system is really revved up and uncomfortable. But that also sometimes helps with the energy level and getting it up. But I love, like, I'm always shocked when somebody's like, oh, I don't want to go on that trip because I'm not sure what it'll be like, or I don't want to go on the roller coaster, or I don't want to, and I'm like, oh, I look at everything as like this new exciting experience.
Yeah.
There are times where I have gone to like a networking event and I've just kind of stood in the corner and been very uncomfortable because I didn't come with someone to help me ease into the room. I'm not really good at walking up to a closed circle and shoving myself into it and talking. So yeah, there's uncomfortable moments for sure, but I usually say yes to the invitations of things because I find that a lot of, if you can get through that that discomfort, there's something really rewarding on the other side. And you also realize that it really wasn't nearly as scary as you thought.
Right. Expect to be surprised. It could end up like, yeah.
Amazing. You might meet the coolest person that you never would have met otherwise. I'm trying to think of something that actually makes me really uncomfortable. Well, we know conflict.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too. Yeah.
So I will avoid that at all costs. And that's usually because it's not even the conflict, it's the criticism that comes with the conflict that I'm trying to avoid. So I don't mind telling somebody why I'm annoyed at them. I don't want them to tell me why they're annoyed at me. So that's why I avoid the conflict, because I don't want to hear the criticism.
We have to think about whether or not my little pedagogy, like developing competence, like a higher level of competence in that scenario helps the confidence in going into conflict. I have to think more about that. I haven't stress tested that.
Yeah.
I haven't stress test that under that scenario yet.
I do think that times where you cannot prepare, you cannot know the choreography, you don't know the music. I'll think like even sometimes traveling to like another country.
Yeah.
And, I remember the first time when I went to Spain, I was like, oh shit, this is written in Catalan, not in Spanish. I came in expecting to know what I was going to read. And I don't actually know what that word is. I'm a little uncomfortable now, and thank God people spoke plenty of English. So I could say, where is this gate? Where am I going? Oh, I have to go to a totally different building, a different,
Oh yeah.
those kind of moments, those feel really uncomfortable when you're when you're in a place where there's nothing is familiar and you're just wandering and you're
Yeah, but interestingly, like that if you go back to the pedagogy, lack of familiarity, lack of competence.
Yeah.
It's totally connected. It is totally connected.
And there are so many things in life you just can't be prepared.
Right.
And and I think you have to, one, think about what are my skills that I can pull from. So those are the things that you have practiced in routine. And two, how next time could I be better prepared? Like I maybe should have known that it was going to be Catalan, not Spanish on the signs. Maybe I could have done one Google search about that. So those are things that I try to think about and prepare a little bit better in those uncomfortable moments. But I think overall, I can feign comfort until I feel it.
Well, and the good news is everything is temporary, including being uncomfortable.
Right.
And so if you could just tell yourself, I will tell you, this whole professional thing, I have been so uncomfortable.
Yes.
I have been, you saw me, so uncomfortable, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to be uncomfortable for 2 hours. And so then what I will do, here's a trick that I do, is I'm like, okay, how long do I know I'm going to be uncomfortable? Okay, I know I'm going to be uncomfortable. So then I set my alarm, or I set the thing about 2 hours. Okay, now 1 hour, 59 minutes. I'm only going to be uncomfortable in 1 hour.
One more minute.
58. And I'm like, okay, I only have, and so something about like the clock, knowing that the time is going towards, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't have to be uncomfortable anymore. And there's something about that really helps me. Like if I put my head around that.
It's a finite amount of time. It's not forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think breaking out of your comfort zone is how you experience life. Because the first time you go skiing and you fall down the mountain, it's really uncomfortable.
Right.
But the day that you go sailing down the mountain and you have a blast, it's awesome. And everybody fell down the mountain once. There is nobody who got on skis the first time and perfectly did a black diamond and didn't fall. And I think when I was younger, I wanted to be good at everything right at the beginning. You never wanted somebody to see you struggling. You never wanted somebody to see you in that uncomfortable moment. Now I think I'm more comfortable saying, I'm going to suck. This is going to be bad. This is going to be uncomfortable.
Ugly, you guys.
Yeah. But I also think finding a partner in your discomfort can be wonderful. So, hey, I want to go learn pickleball. You don't know how to play pickleball. I don't know how to play pickleball. Let's go take a class together.
Let's go try. Let's go be uncomfortable together. No, I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oj and I took pickleball together, and we both had played enough tennis that we thought we weren't going to be totally uncomfortable. We got there. We were pretty uncomfortable. We really did not know what we were doing. But it was great because we could laugh together. We got better together. We encouraged each other. And guess what? It was a beginner class. We all were uncomfortable and looked stupid. So it was fine. There were 6 of us uncomfortable. So yeah, I think that is very helpful. I also think about like the first time I had a boyfriend who took me to like a hole in the wall. I don't even remember what type of Asian restaurant it was. And no one in there was Caucasian speaking English. And I was
best food ever, of course, I'm sure.
It was the most amazing meal. And I, kicking and screaming, went in the door. I don't want to eat here. I don't know. It won't be good. I won't like it. And we left, and I was like, oh, you were right. I had to, and he forced me through that uncomfortableness. Like there was nothing in English on the menu, and he helped me guide me through it. And it was a fabulous meal and such a fun experience. So I think luckily I have enough of those lessons.
Yeah. When I first went to Thailand, I did that boot camp, and
I don't know how you did that.
It was it was August in Thailand. It was really, really hot. I cried every single day for 6 weeks. I was so miserable. And, but after that, it's like running the marathon. Like I did one.
And now you go down.
Well, I mean,
crazy.
But I think it's like I have done things that have more uncomfortable, and it did not kill me. So I also have like points of reference. Like I think there's a trick to see like, okay, I'm uncomfortable now. When have I been uncomfortable in the past? Did I survive it? Okay, great. I survived that. I will survive this. Like there's a little bit of that like self-talk, like it's not this is not going to kill me. I'm just uncomfortable. This is a feeling that I do not like. Like it very much like you would talk to yourself if you're a 5-year-old. It is okay that you're not.
I don't even understand how you had the bravery. one, the wherewithal, two, the initiative, and three, the bravery to go do that to begin with. Like how? And how not with someone else? Like how? How did you even possibly say this is a good idea?
Well, I will say I wasn't sure that was a good idea, but the trajectory that I was on with my health was a bad idea. And I wanted to shake it up so bad that it just felt like I'm just going to go through it. I'm just going to go through it. I'm going to walk through the bowels of hell and get to the other side to get myself to reset.
So I am not as good at shaking up routine and habit and things that make me comfortable as you are. I mean, I think that's why you've traveled more of the world and done more daring things.
Yeah.
There is, I mean, going back to that big five personality, that openness, you are very high openness. I don't think many people are as high openness. And that's where I
mean, I definitely have a courage and gene in me to be like, okay, well, we're going to start a new business tomorrow. Okay, I mean, you have that in you, by the way. But like, I have a little bit like, well, why can't I do it? You know, I have a little bit of that. Nothing seems, if it's not building a rocket ship to the moon and it's not doing brain surgery, I can probably figure it out. You know, I have that. But I definitely, I mean, don't kid yourself that there are times when I have to second guess myself. Like, did I really say that we were going to do this? Oh my God.
You don't show your discomfort.
Even at that event where, you know, I was so uncomfortable.
You don't.
I didn't we go in the back and let me cry a little bit?
Yeah, but nobody else would have ever known.
Yeah.
And I watched you, I saw your face, I saw your moment of discomfort. So that's why I followed you to provide you protection.
Yeah.
And then you shut
right
it off and you never showed it again. There was not a moment of discomfort on your face. You put that in a box and you closed it. I was shocked. I was like, I could not have done
Thank
that.
God you were there, sis. You were a good friend. You're love here.
I don't like seeing you have that, even a glimmer of that discomfort on your face.
Well, good. Then I kept it off. Well, I hope for folks that are feeling like they have discomfort in their lives that you can maybe name the things that trigger, break down the elements of it, ask what you can do to develop improved competences on those elements, create familiarity and fluency around those elements. And as you kind of tackle each element like a step in a dance, you can put it back together like a combination and ultimately a whole dance with music. Practice the hell out of it, and you will see a correlation between that uncomfortness or that lack of comfort, the competences, the confidence, and ultimately the comfort. And report back on whether or not my little what is it, 4-step process towards comfort, uncomfortableness to comfort. See if it works. I'm curious.
I think it absolutely will work. And I'm going to identify a couple places this week where I can implement it.
And it's my book. So we really do have to stress test it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get writing before somebody else steals it from us.
True.
All right. Well, I will see you. You're coming over to hang out with me. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right. I will see you soon. And I hope that everyone will thank us later as they start on their journey of comfort.